oh, you tripping, you crazy, oh, you just being sensitive or whatever. You were not tripping, you were not crazy. We have the gift of discernment. That shit comes from our guts. So hey you guys, it is Ericka Sade here, and I'm back with another video. This one will be a quick get ready with me / story time. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this book that I read. Rock Bottom is Where Bad Bitches Are Built. It looks like this. I got this book from Amazon. I follow this girl on Instagram who's like a friend of my head, and she recommended this along with some other books to read or whatever, and the book was very interesting. I finished it in 2 days. So I'm going to be doing my makeup along with getting into this story, and hopefully I can get through what the products are that I'm using, because I'll get a little sidetracked. I can't talk and do my makeup, but I'm gonna try. So with that being said, I'm gonna wipe my face off with these Cetaphil wipes. Probably can't see them, but I'm sure you know what they are. So so this book, Rock Bottom is Where Bad Bitches Are Built. Now, a couple of people that I work with or whatever, they were asking, was it like some type of like hood book because of the name of it, but it's really not. This lady, her name is Ericka Atkins. She's a psychologist or whatever. And she basically is just telling her story about how about the events that she has went through in her life or whatever. Basically how she was broken down and she had to build herself back up. So I feel like this book was something that I needed to read, and I say that because it's no coincidence that her name is Ericka as well. But I didn't go through the same exact things that she went through in this book, but as far as how certain events made her feel and certain things that she would sit and ignore and act like it wasn't happening, I just feel like that was me. And it may be most women, but I'm just speaking on me specifically. But in this book, she talks about how she's been married twice or whatever. The first marriage didn't work out, and her second marriage is the one she more so talked about or whatever, where her husband, he cheated on her while they were married, had a baby on her or whatever, and every time it seemed like if she would go out of town for work or he would have to go travel for work, he was cheating. She had people that kept reaching out to her, hey, you know, you don't know me or whatever, but your husband is seeing another woman. Like, this has been happening over like the course, I want to say about 10 years. And I was just like, it's so crazy how much women will put up with, because in this book, like, she kept, every time something would happen, she kept making excuses for this guy. And it was like, okay, maybe he's telling the truth, because you don't really have no solid proof that he's doing these things. But like, I just feel like when you know. It's just like when someone comes to you and say, oh, such and such has done this or whatever, it's like a feeling you get when someone tells you information. So it's like, yeah, you don't want to keep going off of what someone is saying, but sometimes once someone brings something to light, it's best to look into it at that point, just to see at least if this person is really doing some things they shouldn't be doing. So next, I am going to prime my face with this Milk Hydro primer. Looks like this. So I don't know, I just feel like women, it's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Like, I have a son, and I struggle with like trying to figure out if I'm raising him the right way, because I've never been a man, so I don't really know the proper way to really show him and guide him through life, but I'm just gonna do the best I can. Like, he has a male figure around, but it's just like no one can really instill every single value in a person that they will need. Some things you don't learn until you get a little older, and it's just like, damn, I just hope I'm doing my best with him, because the things that this lady has went through in this book, it was just like, are you serious? Like, he was a massive manipulator. Like, and I feel like I go through that a lot too, like, because most of us have such good hearts, we get walked all over. So she talked about how, like, in the book, it kind of makes it seem like she's a little bit of a pushover, but she's really not. It's like she's in love with this guy, and she just want her marriage to work. Like, she say it over and over and over again, like, I just really want my marriage to work, I love him, or whatever. So everything that he has done, he has stole from her. He stole from her family. He come to find out he had an addiction. He was on steroids for about 15 years in total or something like that. And I was just like, dude, like, if you had these issues prior to this relationship, this marriage, why didn't you go seek help before? Like, obviously he didn't want it, but she ended up getting him help with that, and you still find another addiction on top of another. Like, you ended up start smoking marijuana, and okay, you know, some of us, not me, but some of us smoke marijuana, but you already had one addiction. All you did was try to cover it up with another, like, and you tried to make it seem like, oh, I'm not addicted to this, I just basically try to smoke this to clear my head or whatever. But you are the one causing the issue, so what are you clearing your head from? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I'm gonna start with my brows first. I'm actually going to use this clear brow gel from Anastasia, and it looks like this. So I just feel like we get ourselves stuck in situations because we just are so used to one thing. And like, if you're a good woman, you don't really want to find yourself dating around and stuff like that. Like, we tend to get stuck somewhere and just try to make the best of that situation, no matter if it's hurting us or whatever. And I just feel like at this point in life, it's time to move on. It's really time to move on and leave these men where they lay, because ain't no way in heck I'm going to sit here and allow this man to cheat on me over and over and over and over again. And yes, some people go through this stuff and some people are stronger than others, but I honestly do not think that I could do that. Like, I guess it has a lot to do with like my upbringing. Like, I already had felt like growing up that I didn't really have a voice, and like I couldn't allow myself to feel my emotions, because if I felt a certain way and tried to voice how I felt, it'd be turned around, pushed away or whatever. And it was just like, Ericka, just get up and move on. So a lot of the times, like, I made myself feel like what I was feeling wasn't important, so I just had to get up and move on. Like, I never allowed myself growing up, or even as an adult now, to soak in my feelings. Like, it's okay to sit there and cry. It's okay to talk to someone about what's hurting you. Like, it's okay to tap into what's going on with you in order for you to move forward. And I was just forced to believe that if I'm sitting there trying to figure out what's wrong with me, or if I'm sitting there crying, or I'm sitting there dwelling on what's wrong with me instead of trying to get help about it, that it made me feel weak or whatever. So, you know, I just don't want to be a weak woman. Not knowing that over the years, it's just unhealthy. So now what I'm using for my brows to fill them in is this Brow Wiz in the shade Ebony from Anastasia. So yeah, so this woman, she talks about how, like, she just helps. She likes, basically she's a person who just sits, she's a person who will she's a person who gives many chances, and like she tried so hard to believe her man and work with her man, and she put him in rehab for his addiction. She took his kids in. Like, she was just talking about like how she was doing things that she didn't even want to do, but it's just in her at this point, like, because she loved her man, like, okay, I have to accept this child that he had on me. You don't have to accept anything. Like, that man hurt you. That man put you through everything. And yes, that child is innocent, but at the same time, this child was had on you. At that point, it was for you to move on. Like, because at the end of the day, she still ended up moving on anyway. Like, yes, she made sure that the kids were straight before she moved, but that wasn't even for her to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was for him, but she did it out the kindness of her heart. And I feel like guys play on that. When they see that you're a real genuine person, they use that. Like, it ain't no way in hell you sitting here paying this man's first month rent and security deposit because you wanted to make sure that the kids had somewhere to stay. You was putting food in his house or whatever because he lost, well, he didn't lose his job, but he quit his job because she quit. I mean, she had got a phone call from one of her other co-workers, and it was like, your husband is dealing with one of the people on the job, and they all work in the same facility. So she's just like, oh wow. So she expressed these things to someone on the job, and they let her know, like, you need to file a report on that. So she did, because at the end of the day, like, dude, this was done to her. Like, what? So she did what was needed to be done. So once everything panned out the way that it should have, he ended up getting demoted. He had got promoted a little before that to a lieutenant. He ended up getting demoted, and he was back to where he was before. So I guess he just felt embarrassed, and he quit his job. Because of course at this point, everybody is already aware of what he did. So he couldn't face it, so he quit. So at this point, you don't have no job or whatever. He's sitting here writing checks in, who was the person's checks he was using? I wanna say it was her mom. But he was writing checks, trying to, not writing checks. He was trying to get loans in the mom's name, like, to basically feed his addiction. Like, you was just stealing. Her brother, he stole from the brother's wife, and her daughter was getting birthday cards every year from her mom, and she was wondering, like, why over the years, like, my mom hasn't even sent, you know, my baby any cards, because if anything, they'll send these birthday cards every year if they don't see them. And she was just like, okay, the cards just stopped at a certain point. Come to freaking find out, this man has been taking the cards every time they come to the house and was taking the money out. Now, she ended up finding out by the time one time she had ended up getting in the car. Her and her friend was going somewhere, and she happened to see this envelope stashed in between in between the seat. And when she pulled it out, she saw her mother name or whatever. She opened it. It was a card to her daughter for her birthday, but he couldn't do anything with this particular cash amount because it wasn't in cash. She wrote a check, and you couldn't cash the check because the check was to the mother. So oh, and I'm using NARS foundation in the shade medium deep 4, I guess. So anyway, but basically, like, in this book, I'm just really realizing that we put ourselves through too much. Like, we make way too many excuses for these men, and it's just unnecessary. Like, because we aspire to, like, marriage and stuff like that, it's like we'll take ourselves through hell and back for these men. Meanwhile, they give us their ass to kiss. We gotta sit here and cook for them, clean, take care of the kids, sometimes when they fall on hard times, we got to take care of them, and along with all the other things. But it's just like, what do we get in return? Because I watch some people that I know, when they fall on hard times, their man can't even do the same thing for them. Like, they sit and they gotta borrow from other people, whatever, and you sitting right in here and your man is here as well. And it's just like, dude, you go to work every day. Like, can you not, you know, help out until I get on my feet? Like, I don't even know what be going on with this generation of guys. Like, women too. Like, because at the end of the day, these men they can only do what we allow them to do. So it's just like, when is enough enough? Like, why do it have to be so much that we take on before it's just like, okay, enough is enough, I deserve better, let me move on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just want better for us. Like, I really do. And I just feel like it's a thing of like really loving yourself. Like, and not to say like I don't love myself, but I kind of have this thing where it's like, again, because of my childhood traumas, like I have this thing where I tend to care for other people more than I care for myself. Like, I'll sit there, it's like it's like some type of rush where helping other people does something for me. And I never really realized it until reading this book, because it was just like, this lady just felt like she had so much of a point to prove. Like, I don't want to look like the weak one. I don't want someone to be telling me like, oh, I told you so. And it's just like, at the end of the day, she did have some good friends though, because her friends just let her know, like, you know, I'm here for you or whatever. So she did have good friends, because the friends that we come across these days, it's just like, what do you mean I need to leave him alone? Like, when you go to somebody and you venting or whatever, it's just like, you don't want to tell them to leave someone alone, because even though you know in the back of your head that you should leave this person alone, that could backfire on the friendship, and now this lady don't even want to deal with you. You know what I mean? So I'm using this concealer, this Pro Concealer LA Girl in the shade Fawn. You know, this is one of the go-tos. Everyone use this. But I'm actually going to be using two. I'm going to use this one, and then I have Born This Way Too Faced. I have this one. It's a little bit lighter, and I want to put that over top of this. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. But anyway, this lady just went through so much. Like, she even had to go through with some baby mamas. And then the thing was, when he cheated on her with one of the other baby mamas, or someone that he already had a kid with before. So that's the crazy part. Like, and I understand why a lot of women just like, oh, I don't want to date a man that has kids, because a lot of men, they use the fact that they have a kid with this person to do what they want to do. Like, they say all the time, like, women feel like when she has a guy's baby that now she owns him. And I feel like, okay, men do the same thing, because he'll act like, oh, I can't stand her, which he was doing to Ericka in this book. Like, oh, I can't stand her. And she said, like, when she would hit him on the phone or whatever, like, you could tell that they didn't get along. So it wasn't like he would say that, but she would see something else. It was just like, oh, okay, they really don't deal with each other. So she said, like, once he started like going to where they lived and to go visit the kids, as he was saying, she noticed like certain things would change in the conversations that they were having. Now all of a sudden, one of the little boys, he had sons, one of the sons had a game, and he had slipped up and was like, yeah, because he was they were sitting next to each other or whatever. So now, quite naturally, you want for, you know, the parents to be able to have a good co-parenting relationship, but it's kind of like, when you're saying that, oh, you can't even get along with this person, so now when you're talking, everything is coming all so friendly, like, so it make you feel like, okay, well, when did the change happen, type of thing. So now, if he lying about this, what else is he lying about? So I completely understand, you know, how she was feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't a thing of being jealous or nothing, because she never told, she kept saying, like, I'm not going to get in the way of, you know, what he got going on with his kids. Like, you going to go see your kids, that's what's going on. But when this lady decided that she was going to call her phone and let her know that they were having a baby together, and then the kick to all of that was, this lady, Ericka, found out she was pregnant too. Ain't that some shit? But of course she kept her baby because that's her husband, and she still felt like this could work out. And she had a little girl. When he cheated on her, he had a son, and she said that people basically felt like they were twins and stuff like that. And that shit is just fucking embarrassing, because like, how do you even explain to people that, oh no, they're not twins, he just had a baby with somebody else? Not that it's any of anyone's business, but you know that people only, they are fully aware that you only had one kid. So where does this other kid come from? And they close in age, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such an embarrassment. Like, these guys just put us through so much shit. Like, oh my God. And then the manipulation, like every time she would question him about something that someone may have told her, or something that she noticed or whatever, he would really sit there and make her feel like she was crazy. Like, how fucking dare you? Like, crazy, you fucking know I'm telling the truth. What do you mean you're crazy, you're being sensitive? Like, and that's like, this man was gaslighting, he was, manipulation was at a full-time high. Like, oh my God. And then she did end up getting a therapist or whatever, but it's just like, if you still gonna be, you know, in the mess, it kind of don't even serve you no purpose until you ready to fix yourself. And then, like, I always was told, if you not gonna do nothing about the situation, like when you find out that your man or whatever is cheating on you and you get this information, please do not bring it to your man unless you plan on doing something about it. Because what's gonna happen is, you teaching that man how to be sneakier. Every time you approach him about some shit in his phone, you teaching him how to be sneakier. You prepare his mind to, every time he cheat, let me go in this phone and let me make sure that I delete this shit in my phone, so that when I go in this goddamn house, well, I'm gonna put this girl on the block list, so that even if a text come, you know, if the person texts my phone, that it ain't gonna come through while I'm in this goddamn house. And I do not, no, I did not just put that all the way up there. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. But I just don't know. It's just like, you really damned if you do, damned if you freaking don't. And I'm just so glad that this lady had such a great support system, because when her friends would find out she was going through stuff, they volunteered to come to where she was at. 'Cause I think at this point she was in, I believe she was in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But I just really don't know. I just really don't know. I don't know. I don't understand these men. Like, who is raising y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would hate for my son to grow up and start dating, and then it's like this girl has to go through so much with him, and it's just like, ma'am, what did you do at home? I can't believe I put this all the way up there. Like, what was I thinking about? This lady in this book, she really just taught me so much about myself that I guess I was burying deep down inside, like stuff that you just don't talk about. Like I said, like, I was kind of forced to believe that it doesn't matter what my opinion was, just whatever, how you feel, just get over it. You know, you don't want to, it just made me feel like I was weak. So I never was able to, I always felt like, I would say, I always felt like it wasn't even necessary to tell a person how I felt, because it didn't even really matter. And that's just what it was. Like, even in a relationship, like, I got how Ericka was feeling, like feeling manipulated every time you voice an opinion on how you felt or how something made you feel. They basically shot it down as though it wasn't important, or you being that sensitive stuff. Like, sensitive, how am I being sensitive if I'm telling you that this really makes me feel some type of way, and you're gonna say I'm being sensitive? If it makes me feel some type of way, why can't it just be how I feel? Why does it have to be, oh, you feel this way because you're being sensitive? Like, I just really don't understand that. And men, they have a way of really making you feel like, does this really matter? Like, could he be telling the truth, or am I seeing things? Like, you start second guessing yourself when you know good and well, however you are feeling, it's for a damn good reason. It's because this person showed you these things to make you think these things. But you know, they are great manipulators. They are so good at it, and that's just what it is. So we just have to love ourselves a little more. And I feel like we really don't put ourselves first. Like, us women, when we tend to fall in love, we put everyone's feelings before ours. Everyone's feelings who surround this person that we love, whether it's their mom, their dad, their sister, brother, baby cousin Tracy, like whoever. Like, we tend to just put our feelings on the back burner for no reason. As though like we're their property, and we just do all we can to hold on to this man out of fear of him leaving us. Like, when it's really, focus on yourself, queen. Like, you are not no good to this man if you're not even good, you know, you're not even good to yourself. You have to really practice self-care and put yourself first, because how are you going to function as a mom? How are you going to function as a daughter, a wife, a girlfriend, whatever? Like, this has to be straight before you can do anything for someone else. So not sitting there and allowing yourself to be overwhelmed over something that you can't control. And what this book taught me is, don't focus too much on the situation. You really want to take a step back from the situation and focus on the bigger picture. Like, before you respond. I had a real bad issue with when I respond, it was more so to just get at you because you made me feel some type of way. So now I want to say something to make you feel 10 times worse, which I can, and that's my problem as a Libra. Once I'm hurt, I want you to feel that shit too. Like, who are you talking to? But you know, like, these men, I'm using my Morphe palette. Yeah, I'm using the Morphe palette, and I'm putting this Heat Wave is the shade that I'm using on my eyelid. But yeah, like, we just really have to start focusing on ourselves and doing what's best for us, because us who have these kids, we still have these kids to raise. And just because we're going through things does not mean that these kids are going to understand and be like, hey, take some time for yourself. Like, no, we still have to raise these kids. We got to get up every day and be a mom. And if you're not going to leave that man, you still got to do what you got to do on that end as well. Like, everything is just so overwhelming. But we have to try to add some stuff in there for ourselves, whether it's reading a book. Because when I read this book, my mind was completely clear. Like, I was tuned the hell in. You understand me? I was into this book. Like, I really was into this book. So find some things that you really enjoy doing, because self-care is really the best care. And in order to do for someone else and be, you know, your best self, you really have to do for yourself first. Work out, which I plan to do. I really plan to do. You have to write down some affirmations, such as like, I'm beautiful, I'm worth it. Like, certain things that you could say, you know, to yourself every day. And you know, they say that tongue is a powerful thing. So, you know, you speak these things into fruition, and you know what I'm saying, this stuff can happen, manifest. Do what you have to do. Like, if you have that mindset that, oh, this is always going to be this way, then maybe it will. But you have to tell yourself, I have to get up and I have to move forward, you know, and get through this stuff. Because man, I was at a point, as you know, some point in my life where I felt like, man, this is it. It can't get no worse than this. Like, I was pregnant and I felt like I was at my lowest, pregnant, and I was like, oh my God, my baby gonna feel all this stress. I could not control how I felt. Like, it was just way too much, and I really felt like I didn't have the support, and I wasn't by myself. I was very much in a relationship, but it's just like sometimes others need to realize that they need help as well. But when a person don't see that they need help too, it's just like you're talking to a brick wall. And so they see, like, and I feel like they have to really want it to work out with you as well, in order for them to really see, like, okay, I should be doing this. It shouldn't be where you sitting here beating the man up like, oh, I think that you need to go get some help because I want this to work out. I think in order for it to work with you guys, you have to mutually want it. Like, it has to be something that both of you guys want. If both of you guys wanted to work out, you'll come together on an agreement on what to do as far as the kids, your mental health. If y'all could work out together, if y'all could pray together, sing together, cook together, whatever you have to do to get that relationship on track, because we really have to get away of this one way of doing things. Like, I'm not going to keep living my life based off of a man being happy and me trying not to emasculate him. Meanwhile, I'm the one that's exhausting myself. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm making sure I put in extra hours just in case you fall short. I still can handle it, because the minute that I don't have it and I can't handle things, I'm looked at as being lazy or whatever. Or now I gotta worry about if you're gonna go out and cheat on me because I don't have this or I don't have that. Like, it's just so much as a woman that we have to worry about, and I do not like it. And that manipulation is a motherfucker, because sometimes you don't even realize you're being manipulated. Like, that moment when you're going through a situation and you suddenly feel like, you know, after you guys get into it about something and you feel like, damn, now you knew all before you addressed that situation that this is what's going on. You was almost certain until y'all had that conversation. Now that man like, oh, you tripping, you crazy, oh, you just being sensitive or whatever. You were not tripping, you were not crazy. We have the gift of discernment. That shit comes from our guts. Okay, when your stomach start hurting or your shit felt like it dropped in your ass, don't let that man tell you shit, because what's going on is, at this point, baby, you are being manipulated, and I'm here to tell you, honey, don't allow that shit to happen, because there's no reason why you should allow that to happen. You knew that this is how this was making you feel. Like, when something happens and your gut start hurting, you are not crazy. But because you caught on, of course you love that man, so you're gonna allow yourself to be manipulated for no goddamn reason. Don't allow that to happen, queen. What you felt is what it was. You're not gonna question something that you didn't get a feeling about. Like, no. You questioned it because you felt like that shit was real, and it probably was 9 times out of 10. Now, if you're just a person who just going to look for trouble or whatever, you need to seek help as well, because I don't think I want to bring these things along. Like, I just really don't want to do that. But I'm just saying all this to say, this book has really helped me see so much about myself. Like, I realized the reason why, and it's crazy how I kind of had knew this, honestly. I kind of knew this, but the reason why I have a real bad habit of inserting myself when somebody can call me and say, hey, I'm going through XYZ. Immediately, I'm trying to figure out what I could do to help, or whether it's money or whatever, I didn't start trying to figure out how I could help. And the reason being is because I feel like it helps me feel some type of void within me. Like, I've always felt on and off. Like, I go through periods of time where I feel empty. Like, I go through times where I feel alone, and I could be surrounded by so many people and I'll sit and I'll feel alone. Like, I never have gotten back the energy that I have put out in the capacity that I needed. And I'm fine, but I do have a therapist. But I'm fine because I'm learning. I'm not gonna say I've learned, but I'm learning not to let things really take control of me, because when you do, stress brings on so much. It really does. And like I said before, like, you want to be your best self. You want to take care of your mental health, because it's very imperative to you being the best mom or whatever. Like, it follows you everywhere. When you're not right, you make others around you feel the same way that you feel, and that's really not your intentions. Like, you know, you just don't know how to cope with certain things. Like, you don't know how to maneuver and not let it, you know, sit on your face like this is what's going on with me, or something is going on with me. So you walk around and you got people asking you, hey, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, and you won't even say nothing. So now you got other people down with you because they care for you, whatever, and you just, it can all just be so simple. And she did make a point in this book that it's one thing that you can do is journal. So one of my friends bought me this. It's so cute. And I journal. And I learned that as of recently, it really helped as far as you calling everyone in the goddamn world, putting everyone in your business. Because at first I would sit there and it's like, oh, I need to know if I was wrong. I need to make sure I wasn't tripping. Like, I would sit there and call all my freaking friends. I'd get off the phone with one friend and call another friend just to make sure I wasn't tripping. I'm giving the whole situation from both sides, beginning to end, when it's never even that serious. Like, because sometimes you get something out of those conversations that make you go to a whole nother level with the situation when it never even needed to go that far. So now you real mad now. Other things that they done pointed out within the situation that you didn't even think about. So now you sitting here really walking around the house mad and shit. Like, I'm not trying to be mad like that. I'm not trying to be soaking in this shit all goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm just here to tell you that focus on your mental health. It is very important for everyday life. And if you are watching this video, hopefully you go and get that book, girl. Hopefully you do what needs to be done and you focus on your mental health. I'm using this NARS palette, putting some bronzer up here, girl, bringing some color in my life. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish this makeup, and I'm gonna let you guys know how everything turned out and what I decided to put on, girl. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. So, hey y'all, my camera was dying or whatever, so this is off of my phone. So this is the finishing look. All I had to do was throw my wig on and put some lipstick on, and I put a little bit of mascara on. So this is it, and as I said before, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.